If you are like me and are paralyzed from a spinal cord injury or have another disability and use a wheelchair, furthering your education can be challenging and you might be hesitant about doing so. When I started college classes after becoming paralyzed in 2015, I didn't believe I could do it and had to end up dropping a class. Everyone else told me that I could do it, but I did not believe them. I ended up graduating with a bachelor's degree in information technology and graduated summa cum laude, meaning with highest honor of a 3.9 GPA or higher. In this video, I'm going to give you a summary of my educational background and experience, advice for furthering your education in a wheelchair, advantages and disadvantages of taking classes online, tips and tricks for getting good grades, and useful websites. Let me know in the comments if you took classes in a wheelchair and your experience. If you are new to the channel, my name is Mason Ellis and I'm a C5 through C7 quadriplegic. I make videos to help you live life just like you would have able-bodied. If you enjoy this video, give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future videos. I'm going to start with my education summary and background. I was injured my senior year of high school in 2015, but I ended up graduating with my class and with academic honors. Whenever I got injured, I was taking 2 classes at my high school for college credit, but I had to end up dropping those whenever I had my accident, but I did complete 2 college classes at my high school the previous semester. I got injured in January 2015 and I started taking online college classes through Vincennes University in the fall of 2015, and I decided to start with the 2 classes that I was taking before my injury, which was speech and English composition. However, I had to drop one of those classes because I couldn't think or remember things short term due to the medication I was on and my traumatic brain injury. I did end up completing both those classes with an A. Including all of the classes that I took up until I got my bachelor's degree in information technology, there were only 2 classes that I didn't finish with an A. One was a B+ in Introduction to Literature in 2014 while I was in high school, and the other one was a B- in Personal Financial Management in 2016 after my injury. However, both classes were general study classes, so I did finish all of the classes that were for my degree with an A. I graduated with over a 3.9 GPA, but these 2 classes prevented me from getting a 4.0 GPA, but I was still able to graduate summa cum laude. Now I'm going to give you some advice based on my experience of furthering your education in a wheelchair. I highly recommend taking online classes. I was hesitant of it at first, but I really liked it, and I found it a lot easier and, less time consuming than taking classes in the actual classroom. I'm going to list some advantages and disadvantages here in just a little bit of taking classes online. Another thing I recommend is contacting vocational rehabilitation. Each state has their own vocational rehabilitation program, and what they do is help people financially get a job. So that could be anything from paying for education to getting hand controls in a vehicle to allow you to drive, to paying for a ramp so that you can get out of your house to go to work, anything like that. But I used vocational rehabilitation and they paid for pretty much all of my tuition and my books. I actually planned on only going to get my associate degree, but after I got that in 2019, vocational rehabilitation said they would pay for my bachelor's degree as well, so I decided to do that. I recommend going to a community college, at least for general studies, because it's cheaper, and then if you want, you can transfer to another college to pursue your actual degree that you're interested in. The college that I went to, Vincennes University, is considered a community college, but they do have a few 4-year degree programs that you can do, and information technology was one of them, so that's why I continued to get my 4-year degree through them. I recommend taking 1 2 or 3 classes per semester, and I recommend starting with 1 class per semester just so you can get a feel for it. The summer semester is almost twice the speed, so I recommend taking electives just because they generally require less work. Once you get a feel for it, I would probably take 2 classes in the spring, 2 in the summer, and 2 in the fall, so that's 6 classes per year. I probably wouldn't take any more classes than 2 in the summer semester, but in the spring and fall you could probably take 3. That's just from my experience. I did find that taking fewer classes per semester, I was able to retain a lot more information. It took me 4 years to get my associate degree and 8 years to get my bachelor's degree, but I always tell myself that it's the same piece of paper, and like I said, I retained more information by taking less classes each semester. While getting my associate degree, I worked part-time and did school part-time, and then while I was getting my bachelor's degree, I worked full-time and did school part-time. Now I'm going to give you some advantages of taking classes online. The website that my school used for online classes was called Blackboard, and it was pretty easy to use and self-explanatory. Normally, for each week, the schedule would be to read a chapter and then do an assignment, and then they would have a discussion board post, which basically all the students in the class would put up a post as far as answering a certain question, and then you would have to reply to 1 or 2 students, and then sometimes you would have a quiz, and then if there was a test one week, that might be the only thing that you have assigned all week, so you wouldn't have to read and everything like that. I really liked it because from my experience, I never had to sit through any lectures, which I hate, just listening to people ramble on. And you can work at your own pace, which is really convenient, and you don't have to worry about physical access in a wheelchair, not being able to get, into a classroom or something like that. And you get the schedule and assignments ahead of time, so you can work ahead, you can see what's coming up, and just as long as you get your work or assignments done when they are due at the end of the week. By doing this, you could finish early, and I pretty much finished, a few weeks early every semester. Despite all those advantages that I just listed of taking classes online, there are some disadvantages. The first one is you have to be disciplined and responsible for, your work, which I feel like I am, so maybe that's why I was able to be successful at it. And another disadvantage is some of the work, since it's online, it seems to be like it's busy work. For example, the discussion board post that I explained earlier, I felt like that was just busy work. Another disadvantage is sometimes you might get false results, and what I mean by that is one time I was taking a test and we had a power outage here at my house, so the computer shut down, and whenever I turned it back on, it said that I had already taken the test, and so I had to try and convince my teacher that, I was in the middle of this test and had a power outage, and I finally got them to let me take the test again. One of the bigger issues that I had was that it was difficult to communicate with the professors specifically, and then also students to ask questions. And as far as the professors go, they say they will respond within 24 hours, like on the syllabus thing, but normally they don't, and I had to contact them multiple times. And if they, after like a week or 2 of that, if they wouldn't respond, I would contact my advisor, and once he emailed them, they always responded right back. Now I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on how I got over a 3.9 GPA. I recommend creating a folder structure on your computer that's organized where, the first folder might be college classes, and you click on that, and then it'll open like spring 2023, for example. You click on that, and then it will open whatever classes you're doing. So, like Comp 310, English Composition 1 would be one. And you would open that up, and then I recommend labeling week 1 all the way through week 16 for the folders. And then that way you have a folder for each week and for each class, and it's really easily accessible and easy to find stuff because it's organized. Another thing I recommend is to get electronic textbooks, and this is because you will be able to search for words. So if you're doing an assignment and it's asking a question, and it has certain words in there like keywords, you would be able to search the book for those keywords. And if you want to search for words that are next to each other, for example, like big chair, you would use quote marks. So it'd be quote mark big space chair quote mark, and that would allow you to look throughout the book for big chair. Because if you don't use the quote marks and you just put big chair, it will show any results that have the word big or the word chair not next to each other. I recommend looking on Amazon for the books because they are a lot cheaper from my experience, and you normally have the option to rent them or buy them, but I saved a lot of money by just doing that, and I even did that even though vocational rehabilitation helped pay for the books. Another reason I recommend getting electronics textbooks is that you can listen to the text. And some of the books that you get electronically will have the feature to where it can read it to you, and some don't. But if they don't, what I recommend is taking screenshots of the pages. So I would do this for each chapter. Each time we would go to a new chapter, I would do this. And I used what's called an image to text converter, and there's a link down in the description of this video. And so I would go to that website and take a screenshot of the text on that page and put it in there, and do it for a few pages at a time, and then convert it to text. And I would copy that text and put it in a Word document. And after I got the whole chapter converted to text, I would copy the whole chapter text from the Word document and put it in this thing called Natural Reader, and it would read it off to me. And a link to Natural Reader is in the description of this video, and I would listen to it at 2x speed. Like I said, I would convert the entire chapter to text, so that way I could listen to it all at once. 2x speed saved me a lot of time, but you might be thinking that sounds really fast, but I watch my YouTube videos in 2x speed because I always watch a lot of YouTube videos, and so I've kind of trained my brain to, listen and pick up certain things and understand at twice the speed as normal. So it might take some getting used to, but you can listen even at 1.25x speed, which is faster than 1x speed. My thinking is, even if you read it word for word yourself, you're not going to remember everything. So listening to it at 1.5 or 2x speed, you're really not missing out on much at all. You're picking up the important details and remembering those. Also, the quizzes and tests and or exams are usually open book, so having the textbook as an electronic version allows you to search the book for specific questions to find the answers. Exams usually require a proctor, and my school offered virtual proctors, and what they would do is you would have your webcam on so they could see you, and then they would record the screen so you wouldn't cheat. Also, like I said, whenever I experienced that power outage during the quiz or test, the recording captured that I just pretty much lost it, and so I was able to retake it. After you get done answering all the questions for a quiz, test, or exam, I recommend right-clicking and click print to PDF and save it to your desktop so that way you can use it to study. I recommend doing this before you click save and submit, because sometimes it is set up to where if you click save and submit, it'll just say thank you for taking the test, or it's complete, and it won't give you the results. But other times, whenever you click save and submit, it will give you the results and give you what answers or what questions you got wrong. So I recommend printing it to PDF before you click save and submit, just so you don't lose it. And then if it does show you what you got right and wrong, then you can print it again. Normally there are PowerPoints for each chapter, and I recommend converting those PowerPoints to PDF documents, because what it allows you to do is do Control F, which is, find. You can search through the whole thing. It's just a lot easier to do that than Control F in PowerPoint, and that allows you to search the entire, PowerPoint, just like you would search the book. Just in case you didn't know, you can also use Control F for any website to search for specific words, and this really speeds up the process of researching and completing homework. Normally you will have a quiz for each chapter, and then you'll have a test that covers a couple chapters, and then an exam, which is normally at the halfway through the semester and at the end of the semester. I recommend combining multiple chapter quizzes or test results into one page, and then combine multiple chapter PowerPoint PDFs into one page, and this allows you to make it easier to find things. Sometimes the questions at the end of the chapter will be used for an assignment, and sometimes they're used in quizzes, tests, or exams, and some of the books have an answer key to those questions in the back. Now for the useful websites, I told you about the image to text converter and then the natural reader, and those links are down in the description below. There'll also be some links for citations, for citing references and making a reference page. There'll be something called EasyBib, where you can just plug in the URL or the book title and generate a reference from that. And then there'll be an APA guide as well as an MLA guide for the different formatting styles. And then I also put down there a link to Blackboard, which is the website my school used for the online classes. Don't forget to let me know in the comments if you took classes in a wheelchair and your experience. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future videos. Thank you for watching, and I hope you watch another one of my videos.